Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. So we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. On Wednesday night, there's a football game between SMU and UCF. And this game has intrigue all over it because this game has been rescheduled for Wednesday because of Hurricane Ian from Saturday. And again, all my prayers go out to Florida. And SMU has intrigued because several players for them have entered the transfer portal, although I don't think many of the players were too significant. So who do I think is going to win this game? Let's break it down. Rhett Lashlee is in his first season as the head coach of SMU, and they are 2-2 to start this season. And their first win was at North Texas, 48-10. That was a good win. Then they beat Lamar 45-16. That was a good win. But then they lost at Maryland 34-27. But Maryland's a much improved football team this year, and that's not anything to be ashamed of to lose to them. And then they lost to TCU 42-34 in the Iron Skillet game. And TCU obviously is playing very good football because they just blew out Oklahoma. In that game, quarterback Tanner Mordecai had 372 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He's playing good. He's playing the air raid offense that SMU's been doing for a long time. Maybe not as good as some of the quarterbacks they've had in the past, but because he throws a few picks, but he's a pretty good player. Running back Trey Siggers had 60 yards and 3 touchdowns against TCU. That's good on the ground. Jake Bailey, wide receiver, 163 yards and a touchdown, and wide receiver Rasheed Rice is 74 yards and a touchdown. So as you can see, SMU's passing attack is very good. The running game is pretty good, having 3 touchdowns, maybe not too many yards on the ground, but the passing game is electric. And on the defensive side of the ball, defensive end Nelson Paul had 6 tackles, safety Brian Macy had 3 tackles, safety Nick Roberts had 5 tackles, and defensive tackle Elijah Chapman had 2 tackles against TCU. So SMU's defense is flying all over the field, but they are giving up a lot of points. But the teams they have played are teams capable of putting up a lot of points. So how much is that is on the defensive side of the ball's fault? I don't know, because again, when you're playing teams like Maryland, TCU, they're going to put up a lot of points. So I do think that SMU's defense is decent, to say the least. Now again, they do have all those transfers sitting out and are going to leave the program, but to me, none of the players are too significant, so that shouldn't hurt SMU too much. Now again, on the UCF side, it stinks for them because you had the hurricane, and obviously this game is being rescheduled, which hurts both teams on the scheduling department. Probably hurts UCF a little bit more considering this was a home game for them and all the stuff that's going on with them. But Gus Malzahn, he's been UCF's coach for a few seasons, and they're 3-1 to start this season, and they beat South Carolina State 56-10. Then they lost to Louisville 20-14 in a game they probably should have won, but they just could not get one more touchdown. They won at Florida Atlantic 40-14, and then they beat Georgia Tech 27-10. So UCF is playing good football. Quarterback John Rice Plumlee, he's a good quarterback, transferred from Ole Miss, but unfortunately his passing game is not good. 49 yards and a pick against Georgia Tech, but he had 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown, so he can run. He's more of a runner than a thrower. Running back R.J. Harvey had 73 yards, and running back Isaiah Bowser, the transfer from Northwestern, had 70 yards, but there was hardly any passing game to speak of. On the defensive side of the ball, linebacker Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste had 7 tackles, linebacker Jason Johnson had 7 tackles, defensive back Kobe Perry 4 tackles, and defensive back Devontae Brown had 4 tackles. So UCF's defense is playing well. They've only given up at the most 20 points all season, whereas again SMU's getting up more. Who do I think is going to win this game? I think both teams are good. For the group of 5 level, I think UCF is playing very good defense this season. And I think their throwing game needs help, but the running game is doing very good with the running backs and obviously quarterback John Rice Plumlee. And again, their defense is playing well. On the SMU side, the running game's decent, but the passing game is really good. But their defense is giving up a lot of points, but they've played teams that do score a lot of points. And plus, you've had this game be rescheduled, and that's going to hurt both teams. And I do think that UCF it's probably going to hurt them a little bit more with the rescheduling because it was their home game, and plus with Hurricane Ian and all the stuff that's going on with that. But I do think with this being a home game for UCF still, and Gus Malzahn has more experience as a head coach than Rhett Lashlee, and the fact that UCF's defense has played better than SMU's defense to start this season, and SMU has given up a lot of yards on the ground to start this season. I have UCF winning this game 31-28. I think SMU can win. I think Rhett Lashlee's a good coach, but I think that SMU is going to have to do a little bit better on defense if they're going to win this game, and I think UCF's run game and their defense is going to do just enough to win in the home field advantage to win 31-28. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below whether you think UCF's going to win this game or SMU or why. and I will see you next time.